exploring your sensuality or sexuality is really like a journey. And you may be halfway into your journey, or maybe you haven't started, where it's just a little dabble, or you're feeling entirely free and embracing your sensuality and sexuality. We're all at different parts or different stages of our journey. And if you're looking for a little bit of support, clinical sexologist is a good way to go so that you're not being diagnosed with some kind of a disorder when in fact you're just looking for some support to embrace your pleasure and have the best sex life you could imagine for the remaining years of your life. Welcome to the Sexuality Clinic podcast, designed to help you deepen emotional and physical connections, prioritize your pleasure, and build stronger, more intimate relationships. Hosted by Canadian Clinical Sexologist Roxanna Smallwood. That's me. This show offers a shame-free space for candid, science-backed discussions on sexual health, body literacy, anatomy, self-exploration, and relationships, both solo and partnered. Whether you're seeking to better understand your body, explore your desires, or communicate your sexual needs with confidence, each episode provides actionable tips and expert insights that empower you to take control of your sexual expression. From understanding the nuances of intimacy and pleasure to building healthier, more fulfilling relationships, this podcast is your go-to guide for all things sex and connection. Ready to prioritize your pleasure and start building the intimate life you deserve? Tune in now. And don't forget to check out my website where you can download my free checklist, join the waitlist for my online course, or check out my online shop at thesexualityclinic.com. Subscribe today and start your journey toward more confident, connected, and pleasurable relationships. Hi, welcome back to the Sexuality Clinic podcast, exploring pleasure and relationships. I'm your host, Roxanna Smallwood, clinical sexologist and passionate advocate for shame-free, pleasure-centered sexual wellness. Today, we're going to focus on a question that I get all the time. Why would someone see a clinical sexologist? Or sometimes, what is it you exactly do as a clinical sexologist? So if you've ever felt confused, curious, or even hesitant about reaching out for some support around your sexuality, this episode is for you. So let's start by defining what a clinical sexologist is. It is a professional who supports individuals and couples in exploring their sexual health, intimacy, relationships, and pleasure. Now, I almost hesitate when I say individuals and couples because relationships can have many different shapes and sizes. It's not limited. If you've got more than two people in your relationship, all the power to you. Basically, it's an opportunity to speak with an individual, me, about your sexuality, bounce some ideas off, and put more focus on your pleasure and your satisfaction in this sexual aspect of your life. So think of it like sex therapy with a focus on education, emotional support, and permission giving, rather than psychotherapy or medical treatment. So I am not a sex therapist. A sex therapist often works on traumas of your past, helping you to overcome them so you can live your best life today. Whereas with a sexologist, you're working from today, aiming toward the future, not doing the psychotherapy or the medical treatment side of things. So my role is to hold a safe, non-judgmental space where you can ask questions, express concerns, and get some of the tools that you might need to understand your body, your desires, and your relationships, and really to strengthen your relationship, starting with that relationship with yourself. A lot of what comes out in our sexual relationships is a mirror of what we are telling ourselves. So we need to take a look at what it is we're telling ourselves and maybe make some adjustments so that we can embrace pleasure in our life moving forward. So people do come to me for many reasons. Often it's because they're feeling stuck, they're frustrated, they're ashamed, or they're just curious. More often than not, they've already seen a doctor and they've been told that there's nothing wrong. So, for example, it could be that somebody's gone and had their hormones checked and they come back showing normal, but then they're wondering why is it that they're not interested in sex? So I can talk them through the spontaneous versus responsive desire that we now know to be true. And oftentimes for women, responsive desire is more likely to be the desire style, but it's not always the case. And so a lot of what I do is just reassuring people that in fact they're probably, in quotes, normal. I don't like to use the word normal, so maybe I could use the word typical instead, or common, because as Marty Klein says in his book, Sexual Intelligence, normal sex is uncomfortable. Normal sex is wondering if the other person is enjoying what's happening, is wondering if their orgasm problem is related to you, and a whole other host of things that we don't want. So, normal sex isn't what we're aiming for here, but there seems to be a need for reassurance that what you're experiencing as clients come to me is normal, or that there's something that's not medically wrong with them, and that in fact often the brain is the key, right? So our brain is one of our key sex organs, and we've got to help our brain to navigate some of the permission giving, some of the exploration, and even giving that space to experience pleasure. We're in a society that is so go, go, go all the time. And if we're not seeing results from the activities we're taking up, then are they really worth it? And our pleasure, I promise you, is worth it. This is a short life. We're here for a good time, not a long time, right? So let's make the most of it and squeeze those little bits of pleasure in, whether it's sexual or even little tastes that you enjoy here and there, or little permission giving for some relaxation. You do the things that you like, right? So find what you like and then enjoy those. Anyway, little rant there. So here are some common areas that I often support clients with. So low sexual desire. Like I just mentioned, people often think it's hormone related. More often than not, it is not hormone related. It can be, yes, it's true. So it's worth seeing a doctor if you need to. But oftentimes, as I mentioned, there are things going on that we're working ourselves up about, which put the brakes on, as Dr. Emily Nagoski sort of references. So talking about the accelerator versus the brakes, describing the different arousal styles or patterns, and talking people through different suggestions or activities that might increase their desire should that be the goal for them. So whether it's situational, relationship related, or hormonal, we'll unpack all the layers without shame in a session. Sexual pain could be another reason. Sometimes it's caused by past trauma. Maybe it's vaginismus, or it could be lack of arousal or lubrication. But sexual pain can sometimes be something that you're holding in your brain from your previous experiences and not with a physical explanation. And so, talking about the specifics of your situation with a clinical sexologist might be of benefit to you to experiencing more pleasure. We don't want pain in our sexual relationship or sexual experiences unless that's the goal, right? I know some people enjoy a good spanking or maybe some other type of impact play that might bring pain or tying or but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about unwanted pain, right? Orgasm difficulties. This could include delayed orgasm, could be anorgasmia. Questions like, am I doing this right? I like to talk through the different ways to experience orgasm and also help clients to take the pressure off. So when it comes to folks who are experiencing difficulty with their orgasm, like to take a step back and maybe take the orgasm off the table and put more emphasis on the experiences that bring you pleasure. I do believe that orgasm is learned. It is not something we're just born knowing how to do, how to experience. And it's certainly not a gift that someone can give to you. You are the master of your own orgasm, and masturbation is the teacher, to be honest. So having a masturbation practice that is healthy and that isn't relying on certain habituated patterns or tendencies. For example, if you're always going to the same type of stimulation, whether it's a toy or something visual like a video or pornographic images or videos. You don't want to always be experiencing your orgasm the same way. I just keep ranting, don't I? So if we're having difficulties experiencing orgasm, we got to peel it back. And each person's situation is different from the next. And so seeing a clinical sexologist can help you to identify where you might want to do a little bit of work. So arousal challenges, if you're feeling disconnected from your body or your partner, like some kind of spark is missing, there could be something else going on in your relationship, even. It could be an imbalance of the mental load of the household, or it could be other areas where you're not feeling supported and resentment is building. And that can get you feeling like you're never going to be in the mood because those brakes and the accelerator, they can come from a variety. It could be the way somebody's chewing, it could be the way they leave their cup next to the sink. It could be just not feeling seen. And so to take that apart and look at how you would like it to be. We look at how it is and how you'd like it to be. So with a future focus in my practice. And so you might also come and see me for something related to erectile concerns or premature ejaculation. I help clients address the psychological or relational components of these common issues. Again, a urologist might be a great person to see if you're concerned about a medical issue. But usually, the first question I ask if it's a male client is, do you wake up with an erection? And so, if you do, then the parts are working. Most people wake up with an erection if they have a penis. And if not, then maybe go see your doctor. Make sure that your heart is working properly and all your vessels are running smoothly. But then we can also work on some other strategies for making sure that you have the sex life you desire, right? Some of this relates to shame, overcoming shame, especially for those who are raised with restrictive or sex negative messages, like a rebellious guilt or body discomfort. There's a lot of shame that's woven through our society and our religion around sex and sexuality. No one person is the same as the next. So often it's context specific. What may turn you on in one context will be completely not arousing in another context. For example, in the workplace versus at home, sitting around the fire in the front yard. Who knows? Whatever your situation might be, but the context of our sexuality matters. In fact, that's one of the biggest factors is the context. Okay, so each person is so unique, and I love to promote individuality. So I can't tell a message through a podcast on the right way to approach each person's sexuality or sensuality. It's more of a one-on-one type exploration process. And so exploring your sensuality or sexuality is really like a journey. And you may be halfway into your journey, or maybe you haven't started, where it's just a little dabble, or you're feeling entirely free and embracing your sensuality and sexuality. We're all at different parts or different stages of our journey. And if you're looking for a little bit of support, clinical sexologist is a good way to go so that you're not being diagnosed with some kind of a disorder when in fact you're just looking for some support to embrace your pleasure and have the best sex life you could imagine for the remaining years of your life. Also, I can help folks who want to navigate some new dynamics. So maybe you want to explore kink or using bedroom accessories. I've got a wide variety of goodies, lots of lubricants, lots of enhancement products that are available, or maybe they're blindfolds that you're looking for, or some waterproof protectors or wedges that can change the positioning around. Maybe you're wanting to open up a relationship. I don't specialize personally in polyamory. I know a number of colleagues who I can refer out to as well. So sometimes having a team approach, maybe I can help to get you in the right direction. Maybe you want to learn ropes. Maybe you want to play with some sort of BDSM and you need a little bit of guidance. Embracing intimacy after childbirth is another option for seeing a clinical sexologist. You may need some help in navigating how to connect with a partner when you have a small human that really needs your attention at all times. trying to figure out ways to shape your relationship after major changes. Also, things like illness. Maybe you've experienced cancer, or there's been a loss in the family, or there's grieving over different aspects. Becoming intimate again can seem like it's not reachable. But I assure you that if you've got willing participants, I can help to bring you back together and be closer and more connected than ever before. Sometimes folks come and see clinical sexologists if they're looking to rebuild their relationship after infidelity or a regrettable incident. So having someone on your side to navigate and even be a third person if it is, say, a couple that's coming in, just so that people aren't getting defensive. Remember that being defensive or stonewalling or being critical of your partner, these are all really high predictors of relationship failure to come. So we don't want to be defensive. If you need somebody's help in navigating that relationship dynamic, then a clinical sexologist could be for you. Just as it is important for me to share with you what I do, it's also important for me to share what I don't do. So in our sessions, we talk. That's it. There's no touching, there's no hands-on. I'm not coming to visit you in your bedroom while you're with your partner or on your own. You may share a concern. I might offer some education on anatomy, physiology, or sexual response cycles. I might ask questions to help you better understand your own patterns or desires or blocks. And together we'll normalize your experience. We'll reframe your expectations and help to discover what brings you pleasure. Sometimes it's literally about giving yourself permission to explore, to ask, to feel, to want. It's also about knowing that you are not broken. You are likely experiencing something that's very common and that you're not alone. And seeking help is a great step. It's not necessarily the first step. The first step is recognizing that you're having a problem and then seeking help, right? So that's great if you are willing to talk with somebody. Again, shame-free environment, right? Having a safe space is the key. And should I bump into you after a session, I am not going to wave. I'm not going to say, hey, how's your sex life going? Okay, totally confidential. You come and see me. I've got a clinic space. I also see clients online. So if you're in Vancouver, great. Come on over. I'd love to see you in person. If you'd rather join via Zoom from the privacy of your own home, we can meet over Zoom, and that's also great, or any other online platform that suits you. And then we would, maybe it's one session that you need and that's it. Maybe it's two or three. But usually it's not a super long ongoing relationship. We can have check-ins in the future. It's just an opportunity to receive some feedback and typically to dig deeper within yourself to figure out what it is that you already know to be true for you. Sometimes that's the hardest part, figuring out what you like and what you want, and then how to get there. Making pleasure a priority is really the focus of my business. Here's what I want you to take away from this episode is that you deserve a relationship with your sexuality that feels empowered, informed, and playful. Your pleasure matters. Your body is worthy of love and curiosity, not judgment or shame. If you've ever thought, is this normal? Is it okay to want more? Can this get better? The answer is yes, and that's what I'm here to support. So if you're curious about working with me, head on over to thesexualityclinic.com to learn more about my one-on-one sessions. Currently, I'm offering 50-minute sessions as well as an hour and a half. You can explore some of my free resources or join my mailing list. I also have some goodies for sale on my online shop. Look for the banner. I often have little discount codes or promotions running. So until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and always prioritize your pleasure. I'm Roxanna Smallwood, and this is the Sexuality Clinic podcast.